Hey yo, this is Yulia and welcome to my channel. Here I talk all things learning languages, learning abroad, studying abroad, and today we're talking about the speaking part in English exams. It doesn't matter if you're taking IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo English test, these tips will help any of you. First and foremost, determine the level or the mark you're aiming for. Because if you're aiming for intermediate level and you're gonna use advanced strong words, it will not make any sense. If your grammar constructions are there is, there are, you keep reusing the same words and then all of a sudden you start using strong words for literally advanced level of English, the examiner will be like, what's going on in here? I think it is better to be consistent in your speech. So if you're aiming for an intermediate level, let's say you need 95 in Duolingo or like 6 in IELTS, be consistent rather than use random words that you find online. If you listen to native speakers of English, you might notice some differences that non-natives don't use. These are connected speech, idioms, slang, intonations. A way to stand out in your English exam would be to use idioms and slang. You should know them, but please do not overuse them. Because if your speaking part will sound like a bunch of idioms and slang words, well, I'm very sorry, but you will not get a very good mark, my friend. Please be 100% sure in what you're saying, because if you're gonna be like, oh, I'm feeling under the weather, thinking it's something good, but actually it's something bad, the examiner gonna be confused, you're gonna be confused, and you're gonna lose marks. When I moved to Canada, I didn't know many idioms, many slang, many words that native use. And when I met my husband, I was literally like, what is this? Like, what is this language? Because he used phrases like, I'm game. I'm like, what? You game? Who game? I game? You, like, what's going on? The thing is, he moved to Canada when he was like 18 years old. So he basically grew up in Canada. So I had a hard time understanding what he was saying. I did my research. I had to Google every single phrase he used so I can literally understand my husband. In school and university, we learned the typical British English, where the textbooks say, London is the capital of Great Britain. Hit that like button if you know what I'm talking about. So I literally never came across these words. But you are fortunate enough because nowadays we have so much stuff online that you can learn all these phrases, all the words that native English speakers use, thanks to Lingota. Lingota is an online language learning school which has worked for me amazing. You can pick any language you want. If you move into Canada, you can pick English, business English, German, Spanish, French, you name it. If you don't believe me, you can try it for yourself. With a link that you can find in the description box, you can try Lingota for free for a week. Go sign up right now. And if you like your trial week, your group classes, you'll get 30% off your marathon if you decide to join, or 30% off your first month of your subscription. If you are moving to another country and you don't want to be stressed when you come, invest in yourself. Learn English today with Lingota, and I'll see you guys in class. Tip number 3 that every single teacher will tell you, have a structure in mind. So your speaking part, your writing part, any part should have a structure. And normally it's something like intro, so you state the problem in different words. The next part, the body of the speech or like the writing part, it's the arguments, it's your point of view. So what do you think about the problem? And the last part is conclusion, like summarizing what you've just said. But please don't use simple sentences being like, pollution is bad for the environment. Always elaborate on your arguments. If you say pollution is bad for the environment, well, why? Because our air gets dirty. And then you explain what's gonna happen if we don't, stop polluting the air, polluting everything around us. So please always explain what's up, at least 2 or 3 sentences on each statement. Try memorizing phrases, but not words. If you know one word and you don't know how to use it, I'm sorry, but it's gonna sound gibberish. There is a misconception that you should use all the complicated words you know in this world. The thing is, examinators evaluate you based on the whole picture. You know, if you use 3 cool words, you're still gonna get your mark. You know what I'm saying? You should showcase a whole variety of different words and phrases you know. So don't forget about phrasal verbs. So you should know them too. Because if you use a phrasal verb the way it's not supposed to be used, people are gonna be like, for example, pass out and pass away. If you say your friend passed away at a party, the examiner will be like, should we call the ambulance, my friend? Because pass away means to die, pass out means to, faint. So please be careful. Know the meaning of the words, verbs you saying. And as I've mentioned before, use a wide range of different phrases, grammatical structures. In our English exams, we pretty much have the same structures and the same words that we are reusing over and over. So rather than saying good all the time, bad all the time, write at least 5 to 7 synonyms to these words. Same with the structures. If you know you're going to be using there is, there are all the time, just write down the synonyms. So you'll have different structures for different sentences, because especially in a speaking part, when you need to give arguments why this is good or why this is bad, you're not gonna say there is all the time. It's gonna sound like you're a 5th grader. So please prepare for your speaking part by writing the structures you want to use in the actual exam. Another thing that I tell people all the time, do not use scripts. People are literally trained to spot them. Because if you're gonna be like this on your exam and it's like, I've learned it at home, because especially when you look up, when you're trying to memorize things, you're like, yeah, pollution is very bad, the greenhouse effect. Your speech should be natural. Even if you think you learned it by heart, you can be supernatural. The professors and examinators, they can spot it easily. So please don't be that person who is literally, okay, I'm gonna tell you everything I know about this topic, okay, bye. Don't. And speaking of this kind of speech, please practice your pronunciation and your intonations, because when you are speaking literally any language, you have intonations. When you're asking questions, it's a question intonation. In your exams, please use intonations and pronunciations, because sometimes you can say a word and if your pronunciation is like, chances are the professor will not understand you. This way they will lower your mark. So practice in front of your mirror. Practice by literally taking your phone, recording yourself, and then okay, so I have a problem with saying, let's say, verbs and words, because they're different sounds. So again, record yourself, listen. If you think your pronunciation is good enough to pass this exam, you're good to go. And last but not least, don't be silent and use filler words. Why? Because if, let's say, you get a question and you're not quite sure what to say, and you'll be like, that's not gonna do good for you. So instead of being silent, use phrases like, oh, that's an interesting question. I think blah, blah, blah. Oh, wow, that's a really tough question. I'm guessing that blah, 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 if you don't know what to say. But also use filler words, linking words, however, moreover, firstly, secondly, to begin with. So if you start your sentences with these words, it's gonna sound more natural, because people, like the native speakers, they don't say, okay, pollution is bad, the air is getting dirty, we all gonna die. No, natives would use linking words to connect the sentences. So the whole speaking part sounds, like one thing. It's not like a bunch of random sentences. It's a whole one story. Bonus tip from Miss Yulia, don't forget to warm up, because everyone needs a good warm-up. Singers, runners. Miss Yulia, before filming this video, if you come to an exam and you're like, okay, I didn't speak any English for the past week, I'm gonna be fine. No, you will not be fine. First of all, practice. Second of all, warm up, because if you start speaking English, let's say 24 hours before your exam, well, chances are you're gonna be used to you speaking English. This way, it will be easier for you when you come to a room, if you, let's say, take an IELTS or TOEFL, or when you sit in front of your computer, you'll be like, okay, I've been speaking English for the past day or two. I'm ready. I'm a native English speaker. I'm gonna pass this exam. So warm-ups are important for literally everyone in this world. And this is it for today. If you have any tips, tricks that you are using for your speaking parts, writing parts, for your English exams, please share with us in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next week. Bye!